Alright, I'm on hole number 4 of the Tropic Kings tournament and Tuesday's qualifying round in the rookie division. Let's go check out hole number 4. I cannot remember what hole number 4 is. Oh, it's a par 3. This is a great opportunity right here to get a hole-in-one. This is the hole, especially if you have a rookie account and you're in the lower divisions. This right here is a hole that everybody's going to have a good shot because it takes very little adjustment. I'm pretty sure I'm hitting this with a long iron. And I want to bring the most accurate long iron that I have in my bag. And I can hit this with just about any kind of ball. So let's see what I got here. And I only have one bag, so I'm going to switch to a backbone. And a Viper is obviously my absolute best choice here if I am in my long iron range, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in my backbone range. Let's switch to a Navigator. I'll have to buy some. That way we can get some low wind, help lower the wind just a little bit. So my backbone at this level is at 1.5 per club. And whenever I say, hey, you're taking you're going to use a max number for a club, the max number is here. This is 76 accuracy. At 100 accuracy, it's at 1 mile per hour per ring. At 75 accuracy, it's at 1.5. At 50 accuracy, it's at 2.0, so we're right at about 1.5 per ring. That's our max club, is 1.5 per ring. Now, the way I work the numbers, and these numbers I can guarantee you are different than Golf Clash Notebook, and you're going to have to work these numbers out for the clubs that you have and what you feel comfortable with. But the way I work it is that the backbone will be 1.5 times 1.5, a 50% increase. At mid club, it's at 2.25, and I'm going to write these numbers down on my cheat sheet here. And then I would take at maximum club, it's 1.5, and times by 175%, or 1.75. And so at minimum club, I'm going to hit 2.6. I'm just writing those numbers down just in case I get into that spot where I need to make an adjustment for mid or max or mid or minimum numbers. I want to have those numbers written down. So the way I play it, long irons, is the mid number is 50% more than the max number, and the minimum number is 75% more than the max number. I play my short irons where the minimum number, the mid number is 1.75 times the max number, and my minimum number, if I'm at minimum club, it's twice as much. So if my max number was 1, my minimum number would be 2. And I play my woods at 1.25 and 1.5, and I play my drivers at 1.125 and 1.25. So each one of them's got a little bit different. When you're new, I apologize. When you're new, don't worry about mid and minimum numbers. Just learn how to do the max number for your club. Learn how to do the wind ring method. And what you'll find is that you'll go, why am I always off on that hole? And you'll realize that, hey, I'm not at my maximum club. I'm at minimum club. And so I'm doing a max number, and that's why you're always off. And you'll start to pick that up. But the main thing is to just learn how to do the wind rings. And once you learn how to do them and you get really comfortable with them, then you can start worrying about min numbers and max numbers and all that stuff. All right, so I'm going to take my 2 clubs here that I like, and I'm going to take a Navigator. All right, off we go. Hole number 3. Let's get something started. Let's get one of these ones started. And even though you don't have the cash flow to open up those chests, you want to get more cards for those. And keep doing it so that when you get up to Tour 7, once you get to Tour 7, that's the spot where you want to build up your bankroll. They used to have a saying that you always want to have 10 times your bankroll before you went to the next tour. Once you start playing above Tour 7, it's always nice that when you go up. So I'm going to put my white ring on the transition down there, and I'm going to put very little adjustment on it just to get it to come back towards the hole. And what I'm really focused on here is making sure that I have the distance right. So it's at 1.5. That leaves me 8 So that's about a ring and a half. And I want to hit nice and easy. Hitting it perfect. The goal here is to make sure we got our distance right. So just getting a nice little look at the hole, in the hole in one. That's what I'm talking about. And you can do that with any with the brand new lower level clubs. It's the main thing is you know, I set my shot up so that my white ring is down here at the transition between the rough, or excuse me, the fairway and the, yeah, it's the fairway and the rough. So and the deal is I set it up there every single time. So I'm starting off in a similar spot every time. I'm getting some consistency in the shot. And then it takes very little adjustment to try and work it towards the hole. But the key there was I could have did all that right. But if I hadn't adjusted out that little teeny bit of wind and I didn't know my club's numbers, I wouldn't have had any shot at all. And that's right there if our opponent, you know, go back and watch that video and look where our opponent put their ball. Number one, I'm not a fan. Hold on a second. I'm not a fan of setting my ball up. You know, if we're on this, let's go back to this hole. I'm not a fan of setting my ball up so that my orange ring or my yellow ring, the center ring, is right on a transition. Okay, you short shoot that, you do anything wrong, and in this position right here, you short shoot it, you're in the rough. You hit it to the right, you're in the rough. You hit it to the left, you might be more out here in the fairway and you're good to go. But you just took two shots that and one shot for sure you took out of the game. And the other shot's a variable. You may, even if you hit it perfect, if you short shot it, you're in the rough. I'm always a big fan of leaving myself at least 2 rings off of any surface. And in this case, I'm 5 rings off. There's no way that this rough is coming into play. The only thing I'm concerned with here is the green. So then it's and I set my ball up in that same spot every single time so that variable of, hey, you know, if you're out here in the clear, and then the next time you come out here and you set up in the clear, how do you know, what are you using to gauge to make sure you're in the same exact spot? You came out here and you hit a hole in one, you went, yeah. Next time you come out here, what are your odds that you're going to be able to find that same spot? You may be here, you may be here, you may be here, you may be here. I mean, you have no idea. So finding some spot, especially when you're new, finding some spot that you can set your ball up in and make little teeny adjustments and shoot that shot. Even if you hit that shot great to the left or the right, guess where you're going to end up here at the green, right next to the flagpole. Okay, you're down here, you're doing the shot our opponent did, you hit it great to the left or the right, bam, you're in the rough. Okay, that's not a good deal. Always give yourself the room, especially when you're new. Always give yourself room for maneuver. But once again, the key thing here is learn your numbers. Learn the wind ring method. I've got some videos up. You can look in my playlist. There's one on there for tips and strategies, and there's some basic wind ring guides. And watch those videos and learn how to get the numbers for your clubs. It's super important when you're new. And if you learn it when you're new, when you go up the scale, if your goal is to try and be a max trophy player, when you go up the scale, you're going to be really competitive because you started off with a way to adjust for the wind. All right. I'm not trying to preach at you. I really, my whole goal by shooting these videos is, and I started these videos off for a buddy of mine who was trying to get interested in the game. My whole goal is to help new players develop the skills so that if they decide that they want to be max trophy players, great. As you go up the scales, you're gonna take these basic skills that you learn down here, and the only difference when you're playing at Tour 12 or Tour 11 is the wind's higher. Setting up the shot and picking the right clubs and picking the right ball is all the same. Okay, but you have a method for adjusting out the wind, and if I can help teach people how to do that, that's my total goal. All right, what hole was that? All right, that was hole number 4 of the Tropic Kings tournament in Tuesday's qualifying round. Thanks for watching.